every minor remark, every slight obstacle, if it all seeps into your mind, you're surrendering your strength. The truth is, the most resilient people don't face fewer challenges. They've just mastered how to respond to them. Imagine moving through life untouched. No more spiraling thoughts, no more emotional eruptions. Just total command. In this video, I'll show you how to condition your mind to behave as though nothing can shake you, so you stop feeling enslaved by your emotions and start mastering them instead. Because once you develop this ability, nothing and no one will be able to wield power over you again. 1. Mastering the nothing can touch me mindset. Life is noisy. Opinions, everyday annoyances, unforeseen obstacles. The world has an endless capacity to hurl distractions, critiques, and setbacks your way. But what if I told you that real power lies in perfecting the skill of indifference? Envision walking through a storm without flinching, without losing your cool. That's what it means to act as though nothing affects you. The secret? Learning to separate your emotions from the outside world. When you let external events determine your emotional state, you become a puppet to things outside your influence. But when you teach your mind to remain steady, you take ownership of your path. The world respects those who stay grounded during turmoil, those who don't collapse under tension. When you carry this mindset, you radiate strength without uttering a single word. You carry yourself with presence, with authority, with unbreakable confidence. Think of the most iconic figures in history. They weren't the ones who lashed out at every insult or reacted to every critique. They carried themselves with poise, as if they were tapped into a truth the rest couldn't see. Their strength didn't come from arguing or retaliating. It came from being unfazed. That's the essence of true inner power. Look at the wisdom embedded in self-mastery teachings and literature on success. One of the most profound insights is this: thought precedes outcome. You become what you dwell upon. If you allow every emotional jab to control you, you relinquish your influence. But if you nurture a firm mindset, the world conforms to your direction. Those who accomplish extraordinary things understand this truth. Control your mind and you shape your entire reality. Picture this. Someone humiliates you in a public setting. The average response? Anger, defensiveness, maybe even confrontation. But what happens when you simply smile, stay silent, and walk away? You strip them of their control. They were expecting a reaction. Without it, they're left confused. You, on the other hand, leave stronger, untouched, and victorious. This is the kind of quiet strength few comprehend, but everyone respects. The same mindset applies to failure and rejection. When life knocks them down, most people get caught up in a flood of emotion. They dwell, they overthink, they mourn what went wrong. But those who understand the gift of detachment don't absorb failure. They examine it, recalibrate, and press forward. They see setbacks not as defeats, but as feedback. That is the difference. How do you reach this level of composure? It starts with mental training, daily intentional work. Create the habit of pausing before reacting. Ask yourself, does this situation genuinely impact my long-term goals? Is this response necessary, or am I handing over my energy? By choosing to stay centered again and again, you develop a mental armor that protects you from life's little disturbances. Another vital practice is visualization. Picture yourself as someone who walks through life steady and calm. See yourself brushing off criticism, thriving under pressure. The more you reinforce this self-pitching, the more real it becomes. The mind is a powerful sculptor. What it rehearses, it becomes. Let people be confused by your calmness. Let them wonder how you maintain control. When you show that nothing rattles you, you take command. You become a mystery others want to understand but never quite can. And in that mystery lies your dominance. Real strength isn't about force or loud declarations, it's about presence. A kind of presence that speaks volumes without sound. A presence that earns respect through stillness and groundedness. Master this and you've unlocked the essence of life. To remain unmoved, reflect on the people you admire most. They don't act on impulse. They don't let every emotional wave steer their decisions. They take a breath, weigh their actions, and respond with clarity. Not because they feel nothing, but because they've refined their emotional discipline. Emotional detachment isn't numbness, It's self-control. Picture yourself in a heated debate. The other person tries to get under your skin. Do you lash out, or do you remain still, knowing their words mean nothing unless you assign them meaning? Emotional detachment means refusing to give your peace away. It's knowing your internal world is yours, private, protected, and when you live like this, stress diminishes, clarity grows, life's problems become puzzles, not battles. Return to the timeless idea. Your thoughts shape your experience. What you focus on expands. Letting the external world dictate your inner one makes you a victim of circumstance, but reclaiming your thoughts makes you the creator of your fate. Consider the story of a man who lost everything. His business, his wealth, his reputation. Most would collapse, but he didn't. He looked at the ashes of his life and saw knowledge, not loss. He knew that his true power resided in his mindset, that nothing external could strip that away. And from that space, he rebuilt his world better than before. This is detachment in action. When you stop identifying with every misstep or hardship, you unlock the ability to rise. Most people never reach their goals because of emotional storms, fear, doubt, frustration. They take control. People start strong but fold at the first resistance. But those who've trained their minds understand that emotions are fleeting. They don't allow momentary discomfort to destroy long-term vision. They endure because they've reframed setbacks as steps forward. Training for emotional detachment doesn't make you cold. It makes you sovereign. You still feel joy, sorrow, excitement, but you stay grounded. Your emotions become tools, not tyrants. Next time tension arises, practice observing. When someone tries to provoke you, pause. Feel the emotion arise, then ask, does this really matter in the bigger picture? Most times it doesn't. By not reacting, you take their influence from them. Clarity also comes from purpose. When your mission is clear, distractions lose their grip. Your vision sharpens. You protect your focus like treasure because you know how valuable your energy is. Life favors those who govern themselves. The more emotional balance you develop, the more powerful you become. While others spiral, you stay centered. While others lash out, you respond thoughtfully. That alone gives you an edge most people never earn. True strength isn't loud. It isn't showy. It's the calm force of a person who doesn't need to prove anything. When you master emotional detachment, you don't just survive the chaos, you start shaping it. 3, mindful indifference is a hidden superpower we've been taught to care too much. About opinions, about validation, about how others see us. Society feeds us the idea that our value lies in how deeply we invest in everyone else's expectations. But freedom, it begins when you understand most things are irrelevant. Next time you find yourself overthinking, ask, will this still matter in 5 years? If not, release it. Most of what burdens us, criticism, temporary obstacles, fleeting embarrassments, becomes irrelevant with time. Yet we let them consume our mindsets, shape our emotions, and dictate our behaviors. This is why learning the art of indifference is essential to reclaiming your inner strength. Indifference doesn't mean you don't care. It means you choose what's truly worthy of your care. It's about understanding that your energy is limited and should be directed toward what genuinely matters. Not every conflict is worth engaging in. Not every remark deserves your attention. When you stop reacting to every minor irritation, you reclaim your composure. You transition from emotional impulsiveness to mindful intention. And that transition, it transforms everything. Think of the people you deeply respect. They are rarely the ones chasing praise or reacting dramatically to every challenge. They are the ones grounded, steady amidst the chaos of life. They know themselves well, and because of that self-awareness, they're not easily swayed or manipulated. When you internalize this mindset, something powerful happens. People begin to regard you differently, not because you're chasing their approval, but because they sense that you stand grounded in your own worth. In a world desperate for validation, to blend in, to gain acceptance, the person rooted in self-respect carries real strength. Imagine a moment when someone unfairly judges you. The reactive person quickly jumps to defend themselves, over-explains, or retaliates. The centered person stays poised, understanding that words only carry weight if granted permission. By choosing not to react, they hold on to their power. Not just over the moment, but over their identity. And that quiet confidence earns more respect than any loud response ever could. The same logic applies to achievement. Those who truly accomplish greatness aren't drained by the insignificant. They stay aligned with their mission, ignoring pointless drama and outside opinions. They move with purpose, recognizing that time wasted on distractions is time taken from their future. So how do you nurture this kind of indifference? Start by noticing your patterns. The next time anger, frustration, or worry surfaces over something minor, take a breath. Ask, is this truly worth my energy? Most times, it won't be. Teach yourself to release what doesn't contribute to your growth. Another helpful tool is defining your core values. Know what really matters to you, your mission, your evolution, your peace. When your identity is rooted in self-worth, the views of others lose their grip. You become unshakable, not because you've stopped caring, but because you've become intentional about what you care about. This is what many overlook. Authentic strength isn't found in chasing approval, but in remaining unmoved by rejection. It's in the ability to distance yourself from what drains you, to transcend petty friction, and stay committed in a noisy world. Ultimately, it's not about caring less, it's about caring smarter. It's about channeling your focus wisely and refusing to waste it on what doesn't elevate you. Because when you've mastered indifference, you don't merely survive, you flourish. And in a society obsessed with being liked, the person anchored in their own value will always rise above the crowd. Stop seeking approval. Approval seeking is a trap. It hands over your happiness to others, making your sense of self contingent on their validation. The truth is, no one's opinion of you should be more important than your own. The moment you allow others to define your value, you lose ownership of your life. Real confidence isn't handed to you. It's cultivated through independence, through the knowing that you don't need permission to be yourself. Think of the most magnetic souls you've ever met. They're not pleading for recognition. They don't dilute themselves to fit in. They embody their truth with all its imperfections and brilliance, and that's what gives them presence. Their strength lies in their unshakable identity. While others chase affirmation, they forge their own way, unapologetically and purposefully. The desire for approval is fear in disguise. Fear of being dismissed, fear of being judged, fear of being alone. But understand this, the more you depend on approval, the more you relinquish your power. You become entangled in the expectations of others, molding yourself to standards you didn't choose. And in doing so, you turn away from your truth. Real freedom begins the moment you stop craving to be liked by all. It's a myth to believe universal approval is attainable. No matter what you do, someone will misunderstand you. Some will admire you, some will criticize you, and many won't notice at all. So why pour your energy into pleasing everyone? Look at those who make a real impact. Leaders, visionaries, artists. They're not chasing popularity. They're driven by purpose, by inner fire, by clarity. They face resistance and critique, yet they stay grounded. Their confidence doesn't stem from applause, it stems from inner belief. And that is why they can't be stopped. If you want to escape the approval cycle, start by identifying whose views actually carry weight. More often than not, the loudest critics have no real insight into your life or struggles. Their judgment is noise unless you let it shape you. Next, learn to affirm yourself. Recognize your own growth. Honor your victories, both big and small. Once you validate yourself, external praise loses its hold. You stop needing recognition to feel enough, because you already know you are. Removing the need for validation doesn't mean arrogance or disconnection. It means honoring your truth, respecting your decisions, and not allowing others to direct your path. It's about understanding that your worth is not negotiable. The moment you stop chasing acceptance is the moment you begin living fully. Your words, your actions, your dreams are no longer filtered through others' expectations. You move through life boldly, truthfully, with purpose. Not everyone will resonate with you, not everyone will support you, and that's perfectly fine. Those who matter will admire you, not because you sought their approval, but because you stand strong without it. So choose yourself every time. Stand rooted in your truth, your values, your purpose. Release the urge for constant validation and embrace the empowerment that comes from inner trust. Because once you do, you step into a life of freedom, not because everyone approves of you, but because you've stopped needing them to. 5. Handle criticism. Criticism is inevitable, but how you respond reveals your resilience. Many people falter at the first sign of disapproval. They internalize every remark, allowing it to shape their identity and disrupt their confidence. But why? Criticism is just perspective. Words shaped by others' experiences and sometimes their own pain. The truth is, critique only holds the weight you assign to it. If you respond with emotion, you give it power. If you filter it through reason, you stay grounded. Strong people don't crumble under critique, they evaluate it thoughtfully. Take what's constructive and dismiss what's not. No excess emotion, no defensiveness, just focused discernment on what supports their evolution. The key is to analyze criticism with reason, not reaction. Absorb what's useful, release what's irrelevant, and never allow someone's judgment to disturb your peace. There are two types of criticism, constructive and destructive. Constructive feedback helps you grow. It comes from those with experience, insight, and a sincere wish for your improvement. This input should be welcomed. Destructive criticism, on the other hand, is meant to tear you down. It often comes from insecurity, jealousy, or lack of awareness. These opinions are meaningless unless you make the mistake of internalizing them. Imagine a sculptor working on a masterpiece as he chisels away. People stop to watch. Some admire his work, some offer helpful suggestions, and others mock his efforts. Does the sculptor abandon his vision because of a few negative voices? No, he continues, guided by his inner vision, filtering out the noise. This is how you must approach criticism. When someone criticizes you, ask yourself, does this person have the experience or credibility to judge me? If they do, consider their words. If they don't, move on. Not all voices deserve your attention. Most criticism comes from people who have never done what you are doing. Their words are reflections of their own limitations, not yours. Criticism is a test of emotional resilience. Weak-minded individuals react impulsively. They get defensive, argue, or retreat into self-doubt. The strong remain unmoved. They acknowledge criticism, process it, but never let it disrupt their inner peace. When you respond to criticism with calm indifference, you show the world that your confidence is unshakable. Consider the great minds of history, visionaries, creators, and leaders. Every one of them faced relentless criticism. Their ideas were doubted, their decisions questioned, yet they pressed forward, refusing to let outside noise deter them. Their ability to stand firm in the face of doubt is what set them apart. They understood that criticism is often the price of progress. If you want to develop this mindset, practice detachment. The next time someone criticizes you, pause. Don't react immediately. Instead, analyze. Is there value in their words? If yes, learn from it. If not, dismiss it. When you master this habit, you free yourself from the emotional burden of seeking approval. Another powerful approach is self-conveyance. When you truly believe in yourself, external opinions lose their grip on you. Confidence comes from within, not from the approval or disapproval of others. The moment you realize this, you become immune to shallow criticism. The world will always have something to say. Some will praise you, others will doubt you, but in the end, the only opinion that truly matters is your own. True power lies in the ability to hear criticism, evaluate it rationally, and move forward without losing focus. So the next time someone criticizes you, remember it's just noise. Learn from it if necessary, but never let it define you. The strongest people do not fear criticism. They use it wisely, or they ignore it completely. Keep your composure under pressure. Pressure exposes people. Some break, some fold, but the strong remain unshaken. Why? Because they prepare their minds before the storm arrives. They understand that pressure is not an anomaly, it is a certainty. When you expect challenges, you stop being surprised by them. The secret is to detach from the need for control. Understand this, not everything will go according to plan. People will disappoint you, obstacles will appear, and unexpected setbacks will come. But you do not react emotionally, you respond with strategy, with calm calculation. Most people crack under pressure because they resist reality. They expect everything to be smooth, predictable, and within their grasp, and when life proves otherwise, they panic, complain, or freeze. But those who train themselves to embrace uncertainty, adapt, they move with the chaos, not against it. Think of a seasoned warrior. He does not enter battle expecting an easy fight. He expects resistance, ambushes, and unforeseen threats. Yet he remains composed. Why? Because he has already accepted the reality of conflict. He does not waste energy wishing for ease. Instead, he focuses on execution. You must adopt the same mindset. The world will test you. It will throw stress, failure, and doubt your way. But if you have trained yourself to be composed under pressure, nothing will shake you. While others scramble in panic, you will move with precision. You will not react, you will respond. There is power in mastering control, not over external events, but over yourself. When you no longer need things to go perfectly, you become unstoppable. When you understand that pressure is inevitable, you stop fearing it. Instead, you see it for what it truly is, an opportunity to refine your composure. Think of the greatest leaders, the most unshakable individuals. They do not flinch in chaos. They do not crumble when things go wrong. Instead, they exude calmness, certainty, and control. This is what makes them stand out. People look at them and wonder, how does nothing faze them? How do they stay so composed while others fall apart? It is because they have trained their minds to expect difficulty. They have rehearsed their reactions before the test even arrives. They understand that emotions cloud judgment, and so they detach from unnecessary feelings. They prioritize logic over panic, and in doing so, they maintain an advantage that most will never have. To build this level of control, start by shifting your perspective on pressure. See it as a game, a test of your discipline. When faced with stress, challenge yourself to remain composed. Observe your emotions without letting them dictate your actions. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. Another essential practice is preparation. The strongest individuals do not wait for pressure to arrive, they train for it mentally, rehearse worst-case scenarios, and condition their minds to remain steady under stress. When you do this, nothing catches you off guard. You become a strategist, not a reactor. Most people go through life unprepared, relying on hope rather than discipline. They expect things to work in their favor, and when they don't, they collapse. But those who train their minds for adversity do not break, they do not fold, they remain standing, unaffected. So, the next time pressure builds, remind yourself, this is my test, my moment to prove control. While others panic, you will breathe. While others react, you will calculate. And when the storm passes, you will still be standing, untouched, unshaken, unbreakable. Suffering often comes from attachment to outcomes, to expectations, to things outside of our control. We grip tightly to what we think should happen, to how we believe life should unfold. And when reality doesn't align with our desires, we feel pain. But true mental strength lies in letting go. Picture a river. Water flows around obstacles, never resisting, never fighting. It does not demand that rocks move out of its way, nor does it stop flowing when met with resistance. It adapts. That's how you must approach life. Some things will happen regardless of how much you stress over them. The job offer that never came, the person who walked away, the setback you didn't anticipate. You can either resist and suffer, or you can adapt and move forward. The choice is always yours. Letting go is not about giving up. It is about shifting your focus to what you can control. Clinging to expectations makes you fragile. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of frustration, replaying past events, questioning what could have been different. But when you embrace the reality that some things are beyond your influence, you free yourself from unnecessary suffering. Think of the strongest people you know. They are not the ones who fight against the inevitable. They are the ones who remain calm in the face of uncertainty. They have mastered detachment, not from life, but from the illusion of control. They understand that life is unpredictable and that peace comes from flowing with it, not against it. Most people spend their energy trying to force outcomes. They attach their happiness to specific results. If things go as planned, they feel satisfied. If not, they fall apart. This is a weak way to live. Strength comes from being adaptable. When you detach from rigid expectations, you develop a resilience that makes you unstoppable. No event, no disappointment, no setback can break you. The key to letting go is awareness. The next time you find yourself holding on to something too tightly, an outcome, a person, an expectation, pause. Ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, release it. Do not waste your energy on what you cannot change. Instead, redirect it towards something that moves you forward. Detachment is a skill. It requires practice. Start small. Let go of minor frustrations. The long line at the store, the slow traffic, the unexpected change in plans. Observe how freeing it feels to not react, to not allow external circumstances to dictate your mood. Over time, apply this mindset to bigger challenges. Some may mistake detachment for indifference, but they are not the same. Indifference is apathy, a refusal to engage with life. Detachment, on the other hand, is a deep understanding that while you can participate in life fully, you do not have to be ruled by its uncertainty. You can care deeply about your goals, relationships, and experiences, but you do not have to suffer when things do not go as expected. The moment you choose to let go of what you can't control, you become untouchable. You walk through life with a sense of peace that others admire but cannot understand. While they are consumed by frustration and disappointment, you remain steady, unshaken. They wonder how you do it, why nothing seems to disturb your composure. The truth. You have simply mastered the art of letting go. So stop resisting. Accept what is. Adapt to what comes. And above all, remember, the strongest minds do not cling. They flow. Just like the river, they move forward, untouched by the obstacles in their path. Silence is the ultimate power move. In a world obsessed with noise, silence is a weapon. Most people talk to fill space, to gain validation, to prove something. But the most powerful individuals, they don't speak unnecessarily, they listen. They observe. They calculate. And when they finally speak, every word carries weight. Silence makes people uncomfortable. It forces them to second-guess themselves, to analyze their thoughts, to wonder what you're thinking. In a conversation, the one who speaks less holds more control. Words reveal, but silence conceals. When you master the art of silence, you shift power dynamics in your favor. You gain control over conversations, over situations, over how people perceive you. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. They rush to fill it with explanations, justifications, unnecessary words. But when you hold back, you force others to reveal themselves. The more they speak, the more they expose their thoughts, their insecurities, their intentions. Meanwhile, you remain a mystery, and in that mystery lies power. Imagine being in a negotiation. The person across from you presents an offer and expects an immediate response. But instead of reacting, you pause. You let silence stretch. The longer you wait, the more unsettled they become. They start second-guessing, filling the silence with better terms, with compromises, with desperation. Why? Because silence creates tension, and tension creates leverage. The same principle applies in everyday interactions. The next time someone insults you, stay silent. Most people expect a reaction, anger, defense, retaliation. When you give them nothing, they lose power over you. They start wondering if their words had any effect. They start feeling foolish. Your silence forces them to deal with their own emotions rather than feeding off yours. Silence is also a tool for observation. When you talk less, you notice more. You see the hesitation in someone's voice, the nervous shift in their posture, the contradiction in their words. Most people miss these cues because they're too busy speaking. But when you master silence, you become a strategist. You gather information while revealing nothing in return. There is a reason the world's most influential figures are not the loudest in the room. They are the ones who choose their words with precision. They do not waste energy on meaningless chatter. They understand that speaking less does not mean knowing less. On the contrary, it means knowing more. If you want to cultivate power through silence, start practicing restraint. The next time you're in a conversation, pause before speaking. Observe the room. Listen more than you talk. Let others reveal themselves first. The less you say, the more people will lean in when you finally speak. Another way to harness silence is to embrace it in moments of high emotion. When you're angry, stay silent. When you're insulted, stay silent. When someone demands an immediate response, delay it. The ability to control your speech in intense situations is the ultimate demonstration of discipline, and discipline commands respect. Powerful people are not reactive. They do not let emotions dictate their words. They understand that silence can be a response in itself. A pause can say more than a sentence. A moment of quiet can shift an entire interaction. The next time you're in a situation where someone expects you to react, don't stay silent. Let them wonder. Let them reveal themselves and watch how the power shifts in your favor. In a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, the one who speaks the least often holds the most influence. Master silence, and you master control. Train yourself to stay calm no matter what. Your mind is your battlefield. The thoughts you allow in will determine whether you win or lose. Every doubt, every fear, every hesitation, these are enemies that must be conquered. The strongest individuals are not those who never experience negative thoughts, but those who refuse to be controlled by them. To train an unshakable mind, you must build mental habits. Gratitude to counter negativity, discipline to override laziness, detachment to eliminate suffering. Just as the body grows stronger through repeated resistance, the mind becomes resilient through daily training. You cannot expect mental toughness to appear in moments of crisis if you have not conditioned yourself for it. Every day, you must train yourself to be unfazed, to pause before reacting, to breathe before responding. Most people are slaves to their emotions, reacting impulsively, acting out of fear, surrendering to frustration. But those who control their minds, they control everything. This is how warriors think. This is how leaders operate. They do not allow distractions, disappointments, or insults to shake them. They move through life with a sense of purpose, a deep-rooted calm that others cannot comprehend. And because of this, they become unbreakable. Understand this. Mental strength is built in the small, everyday moments. It is in waking up early when you'd rather sleep. It is in choosing to stay silent when you could argue. It is in pushing forward when everything in you wants to quit. The mind, like a muscle, grows through resistance. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen it. One of the most powerful mental habits you can develop is detachment. When you learn to separate yourself from emotions, from outcomes, from external chaos, you gain an advantage over those who are constantly reacting. Detachment does not mean indifference. It means control. It means understanding that you cannot control the world, but you can always control your response to it. Imagine a storm. Most people get caught in the winds, tossed around by circumstances, struggling against forces they cannot control. But those with unshakable minds, they stand still, grounded, letting the storm pass around them. They do not waste energy fighting the uncontrollable. They reserve their strength for what truly matters. Another crucial element of mental training is discipline. The mind will always seek comfort, ease, and the path of least resistance. This is why most people never achieve true strength. They give in to distractions, procrastination, and self-doubt. But discipline rewires the mind. When you consistently choose discipline over comfort, you reshape yourself into someone who is unstoppable. Start small. Commit to habits that reinforce your mental strength. Meditate to sharpen your focus. Exercise to reinforce discipline. Read to expand your mind. Keep your word to yourself, no matter how small the promise. Over time, these small acts build into something powerful, an unshakable mind. The world will test you, people will challenge you, life will throw obstacles in your path, but the moment you master your mind, nothing external can shake you. You will move through life with a level of confidence, control, and power that few ever achieve. And when others ask how you remain so steady, so unbothered, so composed, you will know the answer. You trained for this, you built this, and nothing can take it from you. Real power moves in silence. It doesn't seek attention. It doesn't need validation. It simply acts and lets the results speak for themselves. The loudest people in the room are often the weakest. They crave recognition, they announce their intentions, they seek approval. But the strongest, they move quietly, strategically, with precision. If you want to be respected, stop announcing your plans. Stop explaining yourself to everyone. Just do the work. Just make progress. Success is not built through words, it is built through action. The more you talk, the more you invite scrutiny, doubt, and resistance. But when you work in silence, no one sees you coming, and by the time they notice, it's too late. The strongest individuals don't waste energy proving themselves. They let their success do the talking. They don't argue, they